Okay, it's mid-February 2026. And if you're anything like me, you have been absolutely glued to your screen for the last week. The Winter Olympics are finally giving us what we've been starved of for, over a decade? Best on best hockey?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I sat down to watch the Group A finale, Canada versus France. And I was expecting a good game, maybe a decisive win.
Sure.
Instead, I felt like I was watching someone rewrite the physics of the sport in real time.
It's unnerving, isn't it? Because usually when we hype up these tournaments, there's this little worry that the actual product on the ice won't match the anticipation.
Right.
You worry about chemistry issues or a trap game or just the pressure freezing guys up. But what we are seeing from Team Canada, and specifically from Connor McDavid, is the exact opposite.
It's not just meeting expectations.
No, it's shattering them.
That is exactly where I want to start today. We are looking at the box scores, we're looking at the stats from the group stage and the historical record books. And the picture that's being painted is that we are not just watching a great player on a hot streak.
No.
We are watching a statistical anomaly that, frankly, shouldn't be possible in the modern era.
It really shouldn't be. And my goal for this deep dive is to really contextualize just how absurd these numbers are. Because when you see a score like 10-2, it's easy to just dismiss it.
Oh, yeah, they beat up on a weaker team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the underlying metrics suggests something much more significant is happening here.
So let's get the basics out of the way for anyone who might have missed the Sunday game. Canada wraps up the group stage against France. The final score was 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
Canada goes 3-0, a perfect record, and they've got the top seed secured for the quarterfinals on Wednesday. Mission accomplished, technically.
Mission accomplished is, putting it mildly, securing that top seed is massive. In a single elimination tournament, your path to the goal matters.
You want that favorable matchup.
You absolutely do. But the way they did it, controlling the puck, rolling 4 lines, never even looking threatened, that's the real story. It wasn't a struggle. It was a clinic.
And at the head of that class is the captain. In that France game alone, McDavid puts up a goal and 2 assists. A 3-point night. Now, I know some people will hear that and say, well, it's France. Of course he scored.
Yeah, but you have to look at the efficiency. That's the key. He wasn't playing 25 minutes to get those points.
Right.
In a blowout, a coach like John Cooper, he's managing loads. He's trying to keep his guys' legs fresh for the medal rounds. So McDavid isn't out there just padding stats on the power play in the third.
No.
He's doing this damage in limited ice time at 5-on-5, just picking his spots. To casually drop 3 points in a game like that, it speaks to a level of processing speed that the opposition just cannot handle.
It brings his tournament total to 9 points. And this is where I want to just, pause for a second. Because 9 points sounds like a good week in the NHL.
Yeah, a really good week.
But this is the Olympics. It's a short tournament where goals are usually at a premium.
Right. And let's look at the history here. We have to compare apples to apples, so we're only looking at the NHL era of the Olympics, 98, 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014, and now this year.
Okay.
If you go back and you look at the great Gretzky in Nagano, Lemieux in Salt Lake, Crosby in Vancouver, none of them had 9 points after 3 games.
Not even the 02 team. That roster was basically a Hall of Fame induction class.
Not even them. I mean, you're talking about some of the greatest offensive weapons in history. Sakic, Yzerman, Correa, Salan, Forsberg. Nobody has come out of the gate this hot. 9 points in 3 games is the most points recorded by any player after the group stage. Ever in this era.
That is just startling, especially when you consider how much better goaltending has become. In 98 or 02, the pads were smaller, the goalies were smaller.
The butterfly style wasn't fully optimized yet.
Exactly. You'd think scoring would be down in 2026, not up.
You would. The systems today are designed to suffocate offense. Every team has video coaches. Every goalie is 6'4" and an athletic freak. And yet McDavid is ripping through them like it's 1985. He's breaking the math of the modern game.
And there's another record he broke in that France game that I think is even more impressive than the total points. It's the consistency stat.
The McDavid standard, as some are starting to call it.
That's the one.
He is the first NHL player in Olympic history to register 3 points in 3 consecutive games.
That's what gets me. 3, 3, and 3. Because usually in these tournaments, you have one explosion, right? Maybe a guy gets 5 points in a row.
And then he goes quiet against a team like Sweden or the U.S.
Yes. Or the game just tightens up and becomes this 1-0 defensive grind.
Well, to produce 3 points every single night requires a level of dominance that suggests the opponent just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they trap. It doesn't matter if they man-mark him. He is dictating the flow of the game entirely on his terms.
I saw the press conference with John Cooper after the game, and for a guy who's won back-to-back Stanley Cups and coached some of the best talent in the world, he looked, honestly, he looked a little bewildered.
He did. Cooper is usually the smartest guy in the room, so calculated with his words. But when they asked him about McDavid's stat line, he literally said, I just got to digest that for a second.
I got to digest that. That's a coach who is running out of superlatives.
It is. And Cooper knows the weight of what he's seeing. He admitted that McDavid is most definitely up there as the best player in the world, which is, obvious to us.
Of course.
But for a coach to say it mid-tournament is significant. He said he's shining in the best tournament in the world.
And that distinction matters, best tournament in the world, because you can put up 150 points in the NHL regular season, and people will say, sure, but that's against, the Coyotes on a Tuesday in November.
Right.
This is the Olympics. Every player on the other side is an all-star or the absolute best their country has to offer.
The intensity is dialed to 11 from the second the puck drops. There are no off nights in the Olympics. So for McDavid to be treating this like a video game on rookie mode, it forces us to reevaluate where his ceiling actually is.
Well, speaking of ceilings, let's talk about what he's chasing next. Because he's already locked up the best start record, but now he's hunting the big one.
Mm-hmm. The all-time single tournament record.
And he's right on the doorstep.
He is. He's sitting at 9 points. The record for a single tournament in the NHL era is 11.
He's 2 points away. We haven't even started the knockouts yet.
I know. It sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud.
Right.
He could realistically yank the all-time tournament record in the first period of the quarterfinal.
Okay. Let's pay respect to the guys who hold that record currently. Because we have to go back 20 years for this one.
Right.
Turin, 2006.
The 2006 tournament was fascinating. You had that incredible Swedish team that won gold, but the offensive juggernaut that year was Finland.
Right.
And the record is held by two absolute legends, Teemu Selänne and Saku Koivu.
The Finnish Flash and the captain, I remember watching them. They were just telepathic on the ice.
They were. In that tournament, both of them finished with 11 points. Selänne had 6 goals and 5 assists. Koivu had 3 goals and 8 assists. They were unstoppable.
An amazing performance.
But here is the crucial context. They played 8 games to get those 11 points. They went all the way to the final.
So they averaged just over a point a game, which is incredible at that level.
It's world class.
Yeah.
But McDavid has 9 points in 3 games. He's averaging 3 points a game. He is effectively compressing an entire tournament's worth of production into the opening week.
So if he gets 2 points on Wednesday, he ties them.
Ties the legends.
If he gets 3, which is his current average, he stands alone.
He becomes the most productive offensive player in modern Olympic history. And he might do it in just 4 games. It's hard to overstate how difficult that is.
Which brings up the question of how he's doing it. I mean, obviously his speed is the primary weapon. It backs defenders off, but he's not doing it alone. And I think we need to spend a minute on the roster construction here, because you can't just double team McDavid when you look at who else is hopping over the boards.
That's the nightmare for opposition coaches, isn't it? It's the classic pick your poison scenario. If you focus your best checking line and your top D pair on stopping McDavid, well, guess who's coming out for the next shift?
Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby.
The old man. And I say that with all the love in the world. But watching Crosby in this tournament, he is not playing like a guy in the twilight of his career.
Not at all. He also had a goal and 2 assists against France, a 3-point night for Sid. And while McDavid is chasing the single tournament record, Crosby just quietly set a different kind of milestone.
What was that?
With those points, he is now Canada's all-time leading Olympic scorer among all NHL players.
That's career totals, right? So 2010, 2014, and now this.
Exactly. And just think about the narrative symmetry there. You have Crosby, the guy who scored the Golden Goal, the face of the sport for 2 decades, setting the longevity record. And on the same team, on the same night, you have McDavid chasing the peak performance record. It's like a passing of the torch, but the old torch hasn't gone out yet. They're both burning bright.
It's incredible to see. But it's not just the 2 icons. We have to talk about the kid, Macklin Celebrini.
The teenager.
I mean, he's putting up numbers that would be headlines if McDavid wasn't going completely nuclear.
He really is. 6 points so far, 4 goals and 2 assists. For a teenager to step into that locker room, surrounded by all these future Hall of Famers, and not just survive, but thrive, it shows incredible poise.
4 goals in 3 games. That's a finisher's stat line.
It is. And it speaks to the balance of this roster. You've got McDavid creating chaos with speed. You've got Crosby grinding teams down with his cycle game and his wisdom. And then you have Celebrini, this young gun with fresh legs and zero fear, just finding the soft spots and burying pucks.
It feels like a perfectly constructed machine. But here's the thing that strikes me, and maybe this is just the Canadian hockey psyche, but despite the 10-2 win, despite all the records, the interviews afterwards were, I don't know, they were cold, professional.
Very businesslike.
Yeah.
And I think that comes directly from the leadership group. They know the history. We talked about Salan and Koivu setting those records in 2006. Do you know what medal they went home with?
Silver.
Exactly. They lost the last game. Individual records are great for us to talk about, but in that locker room, they mean absolutely nothing if you don't hear your anthem at the end.
And McDavid knows that better than anyone.
He's won individual trophies his whole life. He wants the team win.
I noticed that in his post-game comments. He didn't talk about the points. He just said, we did what we came to do. We came to win a hockey game and continue to get better.
Continue to get better.
Yeah.
That's the scary part for the rest of the world. They just put up double digits on the scoreboard, and their captain thinks they have another gear.
It implies they aren't satisfied with the process yet, even if the result was, perfect.
Which is the mindset you need. Because the whole tournament changes now. The group stage is fun. It's a showcase. The quarterfinals are a different beast entirely.
Right, and that's the transition we need to make here. We've been marveling at the offense against Group A teams. But come Wednesday, it's win or go home. The ice gets a lot smaller, metaphorically speaking.
It does. The checking gets tighter. The shot blocking becomes more desperate. Teams stop trying to match skill with skill, and they start trying to just ruin your day. They'll trap. They'll clutch and grab. They'll do whatever it takes to slow the game down to a crawl.
So here's the big question I want to leave our listeners with as we head into the knockouts. We have seen this McDavid standard of 3 points per game in the group stage. Can he maintain that pace when the opponent is playing for their national survival?
That is the defining question, isn't it? History tells us the scoring drops in the medal rounds. It just gets harder. But, well, Connor McDavid has made a career out of ignoring what history tells us is possible.
That's true.
If he goes out on Wednesday against an elite defensive structure and drops another 3 points to break that Salan and Koivu record, then we are not just talking about a great tournament performance.
We're talking about the greatest individual performance we have ever seen.
Without a doubt. If he maintains this pace through the gold medal game, it will become the benchmark for the next 50 years.
I, for one, am not betting against him. It is going to be must-watch TV. Wednesday cannot come soon enough.
It's going to be electric. I can't wait to see how the rest of the field even tries to respond.
Neither can I. Thanks for helping me unpack the madness of these stats.
Anytime. My pleasure.
And thank you for listening to this deep dive into Team Canada's historic run. Enjoy the quarterfinals, and we will catch you on the other side.